Here's the way they will start as Sears Die-Hard Battery, now with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid for today's race. Ward Burton goes for his third win of the season from the pole. Second week in a row he's had the front spot. And Jack Sprague, best start since winning the pole at Charlotte in '91. In row 2, Steve Grissom, one of his best efforts of the season, and David Green, the point leader. Row 3, Robert Presley, 2 wins this year, and Jeff Burton, a strong third at Dover last week. Rookie Roy Payne has his best career start. Tom Peck finished 6th here a year ago. Ricky Craven, close second at Hickory, and Todd Bodine, who dominated Dover. Bobby Dotter, 9th at Martinsville, his best this year, and Rodney Combs starts 12th. Mike Wallace goes 13th, and Tracy Leslie was 4th here last year. Joe Nemechek, the defending champion, and the top rookie candidate, Hermie Sadler, in row 8. Tommy Houston finished 3rd back in 1988 here, and Jim Bound looking for a top 10 finish, his first of the season. Johnny Rumley makes his second Busch start of the season, and Richard Lassiter goes 20th. Chuck Bound won here in 1991, and David Bonnet makes his second start of the year. In row 12, Nathan Butke, the 18-year-old rookie, and Tim Fedewa, the rookie from Michigan. Joe Bessie, another rookie from Maine, who was 4th up in Orange County, and Jason Keller, yet another rookie driver. Tommy Sigmund makes his 3rd start of the season, and Eddie Goodson from up the road in Darlington. Clay Brown, NASCAR All-Pro regular, makes his first start of the year, and Elvis made the field. Jerry Glanville, who was out after 5 laps here last year, will start 30th. The provisionals, Shauna Robinson from Iowa and Troy Beebe from California, who wrecked in practice. 12 Chevys, 7 Oldsmobiles, 5 Buicks, 5 Fords, and 3 Pontiacs. 10 cars on Hoosiers, including both of the front row, and 22 on Goodyear tires. You'll be riding along with Chuck Bound today in the Nescafe Nestea Pontiac from Hubert Hensley Racing. He'll be carrying our standard 360-degree tilted pan race cam mounted at the dome-like position, and this new little innovation. Our director Gary Clem calls it the dog out the window look cam, and it'll have a look out the right side window, and you'll see how close that wall and the other cars get from the passenger seat windowsill of Chuck's car. Now also on the Butler seat that Chuck sits in, we have mounted a indoor-outdoor temperature gauge. 94.6 degrees outside, 100.6 degrees inside the race car.
And I promise you that inside gauge is fixing to go way up as soon as they crank the heaters up in these things.
We had a regular household thermometer in the car, and it quickly ran out of numbers. Had to take it out and put the digital one in.
It ran out at 130, so we got a lot of way to go there. It's going to get some big numbers inside that car today.
The weather here today is oppressive. It's a good day to be at the beach, not near the beach. 93 degrees. You can cut the humidity with a butter knife. Slight breeze, nice for the folks in the grandstand, won't affect the race cars, and always chance of thunderstorms. Myrtle Beach is built like a mini Daytona. They've raced here since 1958 on and off. It's been paved, it's been dirt, it's been reconfigured several times. It's a tri-oval, 14-degree bank in the turn, 7 degrees along the front straightaway tri-oval. So every seat's a good seat because the grandstands don't go straight across, they curve around like at Michigan or at Daytona. 900-foot back straightaway, that's a long one for a track this size.
Every seat must be a good one because they're packed today, and I'm telling you, some hot weather to be sitting in a grandstand like this. They know there's some good racing ahead.
Looking in the 11th row, outside of Chuck Bound's car at David Bonnet. There is the breakdown of the cars in this field. And you'll see on that camera a little air filter. That's for fresh air for Chuck there on that door sill. We're about to get to it. It's 250 laps today. Heat and tires a concern of almost every driver in the starting field. Ward Burton brings them down very slowly. And on the green, Jack Sprague gets a good jump on the pole sitter and will lead them into turn 1.
Yeah, he brought him down a real slow speed, and then Sprague jumped him from the outside, took the lead.
Field starts to shuffle out. Steve Grissom drops into 3rd. David Green is 4th. Robert Presley is 5th. The rookie Roy Payne has the 6th spot. Jeff Burton is 7th. Ricky Craven and Tom Peck battle side by side for 8th. That's the first of the side-by-side battles that go all the way back through the field there.
Mike, we talked about the tire wear, and you can almost, when I talked to the driver before the race, they said they were going to kind of pace themselves. I'm not so sure what they're going to do the first race. They're going to have to be careful to see what happens later on.
You see how low they run in the corners on this track. NASCAR measures each racetrack 15 feet in from the outside wall. Neil, if you measured this one down on the white line, it might be a 3/8 of a mile.
You jokingly say that, Mike, and they pull in like 600 gear ratios here, which is more suitable for a 3/8 than is a half mile. It's a short half mile around the inside.
Jack Sprague, the leader, at 3 laps. Most of the field now single file. Couple of 2 wide battles, Johnny Rumley and Richard Lassiter toward the back of the field. 3 cars have a breakaway, if you want to call it that, of 2 car lengths on David Green. Hoosier, Goodyear, the front 3. Riding with Chuck Bound. They're just ahead is Richard Lassiter.
There's Chuck
up front.
Yep, there's battle for the lead. Ward Burton's been really quick. He got jumped on that start. Look at the car getting loose right down. He's drove down the bottom of the track. That inside line, though, should be the preferred way around this place.
Okay, let me correct Neil. Jack Sprague is on Goodyear's. Spin up in turn 4. Rodney Combs and Shauna Robinson spins to the infield to miss him. Combs looks like he's cut down a left rear. The Lost Creek, West Virginia driver brings out the first caution of the day at lap 5 with a destroyed left rear tire, and he spins it in front of the field trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, Mikey was trying to get up there and keep from losing a lap and spun the car directly in front of the leaders. You know,
he'll get it fired and turned around, but he will go 1 lap down. We're under the first caution of the day in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Ward Burton in the lead. We're about to go back to racing. First, let's have a look at what happened to Rodney Combs up here in turn 4.
Mike, as he went down the corner, we're going to pick him up coming around. This was the second. I'm sorry. He'd spun. He got the car straightened out, and his left rear tire was flat. And this is the leaders coming. He's wanting to beat them back to the line and not go a lap down. Look, he almost pins Ward Burton on the wall. He's trying so hard to get back on that flat tire. He just turned it right around in front of the field. First instinct of a driver, not to lose that lap, even though he spun it again.
So now he'll come up to the outside line as one of the 2 drivers a lap down. He and Shauna Robinson, the 2 involved in that crash, will be trying to get their lap back from Ward Burton. 8 laps complete here at Myrtle Beach of 250. Green is back on it again. Burton brings them around very slowly for the restart. This time he will maintain the lead. Sprague in second and Grissom in third. David Green, Robert Presley, Roy Payne, and Jeff Burton.
You mentioned Grissom there, Mike. This is his best qualifying in a long time. We usually come to these Busch races, he'll qualify 20th and be right up in front. He's starting in front. He must have a good race car today.
Grissom to the inside of Jack Sprague. This is for second place. And he'll take it away. Neil, this track looks like it races a lot like Martinsville, where if you could beat somebody down into the corner on the bottom, you take the racetrack away from him.
Yeah, you just take that preferred line. The guy on the outside's got to roll out of the throttle, then he's got to be a little easier getting back in the gas. So once you take that inside away from him, they've got to give you a little bit of room.
Ward Burton out by himself now. Steve Grissom and Jack Sprague battled a bit. David Green has now gone up into the second, or rather third position, and Robert Presley takes 4th away from Sprague as they come off turn 4.
Yeah, Presley's car was really good.
Roy Payne's going to go around. Jeff Burton got under him. Payne came down. I'm not sure if he knew Burton was there. And the Texas rookie falls from 6th to the tail end of the field as the caution flag waves for the second time. Burton had snuck up and under Roy Payne there as Payne was trying to work which lane to take as they were moving up on Jack Sprague.
That's one of those deals you could see it coming, like you made the call, Mike. You could see it before they ever actually got together. It's coming down the corner. You see the nose of the car gets down under him right there. Payne's coming back down the inside line. It's just a simple case of both guys are trying for the same piece of racetrack. Payne didn't know he was there, and I think Green thought he might give him a little more room there, and they got hung up coming in the corner.
He almost took Sprague with him.
Yep, he fired it up, and I don't think he has any damage at all other than those tires. And the tire rule today, we've talked about tires before. Right now, as the rule exists, it's 4 tires during the course of the day, 1 per position. So unless they change it during the course of the race, they're going to take a look at it as the race goes along.
That's right. You can mount 1 tire per position on the car under caution. You can change as many tires as you want under green. Some drivers told me this morning, or this afternoon rather, that they might just come in under caution and take the 2-lap penalty to change the right sides rather than try to change them under green. You're going to lose 2 laps anyway as fast as the cars run here. They might just take the penalty.
Yep, that's about the way they'd have to do it.
Now, NASCAR officials, they know that tire wear is a concern. Ray Hill, who's the Busch director, said that they would monitor the tire situation and would consider amending the tire rule in the event if conditions warrant. But
I think their stance on that would be, Mike, if you've got 2 brands here, if one of them was wearing out and the other one wasn't, they would say, hey, you brought the wrong tire. But since both of them are having a lot of tire wear, they're going to be open-minded enough to make the call during the race.
Right. And again, let me correct the outside pole car. Jack Sprague was on Goodyear, so it was Hoosier on the pole, Goodyear outside. Burton's going to lead on the restart here. And again, the pace car scoots away up in turn 3, but Ward is taking them very, very slowly through 4.
That's a 20-mile-an-hour restart every time he does it.
He's back up to green and up through the gearbox. Steve Grissom in second now. David Green is third. Robert Presley is fourth. Sprague is fifth. Jeff Burton is sixth. Seventh, Ricky Craven. Eighth is Tom Peck. Ninth is Todd Bodine. And 10th, side by side, Mike Wallace and Bobby Dotter. Neither of the lap cars able to advance.
No, well, I tell you, those guys, they fight for that inside line. You can see if you guys get home on the outside, and they just do whatever it takes to get over to the inside. Grissom really making a strong run at Burton early in this race.
Robert Presley coming up to lap Shauna Robinson on the outside. You see him right side of the screen. He's the 4th place car. Sprague is 5th, but Burton right in his tire tracks this time. They lap past Rodney Combs, the #1 car.
We see Presley. He's got some distance to make up. Some of the guys that broke traffic a little quicker than he did.
There's Burton to the inside of Sprague. This will be for 5th place.
And it should be 5th. Yep, see that inside. What Sprague in the 74 pole right back to the inside. He'll let him by, then he'll drop real quick back on the inside to protect that line again.
Wants to hold off Ricky Craven in the DuPont car and Tom Peck in the SK Tools ride. Smoke out of Richard Lassiter's car a little further back in the pack, just ahead of David Bonnet.
We see Shauna Robinson. She was lapped early and she's caught in the outside lane. All these cars going by.
Now she's able to drop in front of Mike Wallace. 20 of 250 laps complete here at Myrtle Beach. And now it's Ricky Craven looking to the outside of Jack Sprague.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold move. We've seen everyone else try inside. And Sprague's giving him outside. See him pull over. He says, hey, if you want to do it, you're going to do it out there. I'm going to move on with this inside and let you have it. And he's doing it. There's Craven going around the outside. Sprague moved to the inside, and he's going to take that outside and try the pass. Tom Peck going right along with him.
Sprague was one driver who was quite concerned about tire wear. He said he was getting about 60 laps, and they were right to the cord with the chassis setup he has under the car.
And one concern too, Mike, is they go fast to the cord. I mean, they're still running. They don't just completely roll over and play dead. They continue to run fast, and you don't know when they're going to go away.
Now, what we're seeing here, we may be seeing Jack Sprague's car not working as well as they had hoped, or we might just see him conserving his race car.
Yeah, he's still right up there with the lead pack. It's just hard to make the call to tell what he's probably the only guy that knows how hard he's running. If they got together coming off that corner.
Yeah, he and Todd Bodine, a winner last week at Dover. Tommy Houston on the move, pulling up on Tracy Leslie. And Chuck Bound in that pack as well. Hermie Sadler, Joe Nemechek. And you're riding with Chuck Bound. Following Tommy Houston. The Roses Ford just ahead out the front windshield of Bound's car. Houston known as one of the best slick track drivers on this circuit.
Well, this thing should come to him today because it's going to get slick in this heat.
They had a 100-lap late model stock car race here earlier. Put a little rubber down on the racetrack and 1 hour of Busch practice. That's looking out the side window. Ooh.
That's looking close out the side window.
I'm kind of glad, Neil, we sit on the left side of these cars. We don't have to see it from that angle. That's pretty close. Richard Lassiter on pit road. His car had been smoking a bit. They're going to crawl under the High Point betting car and have a look. Spin car. It's Todd Bodine, who was in the top 10. And he spins at turn 4. That's the 3rd caution of the day. Comes out at lap 26.
Bodine got a flat tire. See, it looked like left rear's down on his car. Maybe not. I saw it wiggling. It looked like a tire.
We'll have a look at it. He'll pull into Clyde McLeod and crew for some attention on pit road. There's Richard Lassiter's car still working as you look at your top 5. We're under caution. We'll be right back. Let's have a look at what happened to Todd Bodine in turn 4 to bring out the 3rd caution of the day.
See if we can see him getting down in the corner right here. It's Bodine. Oh, he's right up in front of that right here.
Yeah, he's already gone, Neil, but I think that left rear tire was down.
Yeah, we've seen 2 flat tires already. Anytime you're dealing with it, let's see if we can get anything else on this shot right here.
Top right corner of your screen, folks.
He's coming in there. I think he's already got it turned around right there also. Yeah,
yep,
he's already sideways. His tire went flat. The rear tire went down on him. There's no way to keep the rear end of the car under. He's going to come on around. Mike, we were talking about it being a soft tire and the heat that's involved. We're going to see a lot of flats because it's just a simple matter. That tire is real gummy and it's going to pick up a lot of stuff. So we're going to be dealing with it probably during the course of this race.
Atlanta Falcons coach Jerry Glanville lined up alongside Ward Burton, trying to get his lap back. He got a neat present last night. We'll try to show you a little later on from a local Myrtle Beach restaurant. Back under green. Ward Burton, Steve Grissom, David Green, and Robert Presley. Jeff Burton in 5th. 6th, Ricky Craven. A little bit of bump and run back there at 7th. Tom Peck, Jack Sprague, and Joe Nemechek.
The bump and run comes from somebody says, hey, I want the inside. Here we are right inside of Hermie Sadler's with a side shot. He went right on by Hermie.
We were almost inside Hermie Sadler's car.
And here's another one we're nipping out here. This right beside Shauna Robinson's car. And that's on the straightaway. They haven't got to the corner yet. That's when it gets tight.
Chuck Bound moving up as you ride with him.
Just like you say, Mike, there's a lot of battling. We see these cars 2 abreast back here in the back. They're starting to beat and bang on each other a pretty good little bit.
That's Mike Wallace just ahead of Chuck. The Barry Owen FDP Brakes car.
Well, you can see him make a real hard run right off the board. Looked like the back end almost tagged the wall. Either broke loose. A little bit of jar there as he came off the corner right up on the wall.
Chuck up to 13th place. He started 21st. That's a pretty good advance for only 33 laps into this race.
We see Chuck trying to get up under the 9 car right here. See everybody, see the rear end breaking loose on the 9. We were looking for that. Everybody's squirming around track, either pushing the front of the car, breaking the rear wheels loose. Chuck's taking a look at the outside now.
Further back, Glanville's car is off the pace, and that's splitting this pack into 3 sections here as they move up.
Yeah, they just had a little contact coming off the corner of Glanville.
Back up front with Ward Burton, your leader. 35 laps complete. Burton, Steve Grissom, David Green, and Robert Presley now being overpassed by Jeff Burton, who's bringing the Phil Martocci Baby Ruth Ford back to the front.
There's Green. We see him right behind Grissom's car. He's making a good run at him. A while ago, whenever Grissom pulled up, I thought he had something for the car of Burton, but he never did get around him.
See that piece on the windowsill on the right corner is an air filter inlet. There's a look at that camera that takes those shots, and now you're riding along with Chuck facing forward.
Let's see what the temperature says on this thing. Mike, we were looking at it earlier. See if we can tell. A little bit of shaking there. That's not that bad. 102 degrees right now. They've been on a caution for a while though, but it'll go on up. That area there is right up on top. I promise you that floorboard's about 180 right now.
I would guess, yeah. You get a good flow of air up there where that thermometer is. Up to 38 laps, and the leaders about a straightaway away from lap traffic. They haven't had to deal with lap traffic under green yet because of the 3 caution flags.
No, it's not far away though. They're coming up on some of the lap guys a few laps. Burton's car has been so good of late. Everywhere we go, that car he's really had it hooked up. You know, he had an accident, and in Charlotte, he had a good shot at Charlotte, getting this problem there, but they've really had his short track program going.
Well, that could apply to both Burtons because Jeff is coming to the front in a hurry.
Sure is.
Those two fellows were on the front page color photo of the local Myrtle Beach paper, the Sun News, which has done an excellent job of covering the race weekend here. Had a special section in today's paper that also served as the event program.
A lot of good race fans in this area, really supported over here. It's nice to see.
Clay Brown from Gulf Breeze, Florida, the ASA and All-Pro driver on pit road at 41 laps. Leader pulling up on Jerry Glanville's Ford as you watch Tommy Houston battle Tracy Leslie.
Well, you said he was a good slick track driver, and he's starting to show up here. This thing is plenty slick.
Yep.
There's Glanville. He's having some trouble. Boy, here's Burton coming up right here.
That's Jeff Burton in the 8 car. Moving up on Steve Grissom. Do you know they've got a third brother, Brian, who looked like he was going to make a pretty good racer and instead went into his dad's construction business.
Grissom was in the Burton sandwich, but he's been relieved right now. The two Burtons are going to go after each other.
Right. These two brothers started the morning off at a local radio station yesterday at 7 a.m. Went and did a Hardee's appearance, signed a bunch of autographs. I think they said they did 6 public appearances plus practice and qualify yesterday, and their last one was 10 o'clock last night when we had them down at Alabama's Restaurant and Grill. It's owned by the group Alabama on Nashville Now last night. So it was a long day, 15 hours.
Nothing but spare time for these drivers anyway. Keep them busy.
Yeah. 44 laps complete. The Burton brothers making a raid on Myrtle Beach. We'll be right back. "49 laps complete at Myrtle Beach as Jeff Burton has taken the lead from brother Ward and becomes the 3rd driver to lead this race today. Jack Sprague and the Burton brothers. Kind of reminds me of the James gang. They'd go out and rob banks. These two brothers are out to rob the Speedway here.
Every race we've been to lately, they've been right up in the center of the thing. Or not center, but the front. And that's where they got them stuck right now.
Steve Grissom is the 3rd place car as Johnny Rumley of Winston-Salem comes into the pits. David Green in 4th.
There's Grissom. He was able to stay right with Burton for a while. Then he lost him some, lost a little bit of ground to him.
Now Tom Peck has moved up into the 5th position, and Joe Nemechek has climbed up to 6th. He started 15th today. 7th is Ricky Craven. 8th is Tracy Leslie. 9th is Tommy Houston, and Robert Presley has dropped back to the 10th position. Jack Sprague's in 11th. Herbie Sadler is 12th. 13th is Chuck Bound. And Todd Bodine has climbed up to 15th after that spin that put him in the back.
Whoa, got some guy coming down pit road.
That was Johnny Rumley. Got side.
He was
way low on the racetrack.
That was the entry apron coming into the pits, and there's 2 sets of black strips there. He was supposed to go down pit road wide open. He'd never been obeyed the speed limit on pit road at the speed he was coming.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have gotten to pit road. I don't think he could have made the cut.
Boy, I tell you, Jeff Burton put a little bit of distance on him right now. Ran his brother down. He's not being very polite.
No, that Ford has taken off, and he's a pretty good guy. He's been easy on tires. He says that he doesn't think they have a tire problem. They're putting wear on the tires, but they're not seeming to have trouble. Let's have another look at that little incident there. That was certainly a strange one. Watch the white 00 car.
Yeah, he was trying to get down 3 deep. It looked like, oh, me. He almost hit the end of pit road entrance.
I don't think he'll try that line again.
If it would have worked, I'd hate to see everybody else try it.
Yes. Jeff Burton working up through heavy lapped traffic now. The Bound brothers battled side by side for a lap, but Jim held on to the spot. That is rookie driver Jason Keller out of South Carolina, 26 years old. That yellow 57 car, the Burton's going past. Front straightaway once again. Moving up on Nathan Butke, the 18-year-old. In the 66 car. Nathan went to Randleman High School, which produced Richard and Kyle Petty.
I tell you what, when people are slipping and sliding like this, and you see a guy like Jeff Burton really got his car working, he's in a position to put a lot of people way back behind him. If he doesn't have tire wear and can go as fast as he's going right now, he's going to be the guy to deal with all day long.
Yep, and if he's not abusing that car, Neil, and everybody else has to try to keep up,
it just snowballs in the wrong direction for you then.
Right. Now here's David Green, the 4th place car, and Tom Peck and Joe Nemechek have both caught him. That's David Bonnet running right with them, although a lap down.
Boy, they got in the corner. It looked like Peck got in and Nemechek a little bit. That you just can't help it when you're running on this stuff like this. It's a little slippery, just real close quarters.
And Nemechek's going to make the pass on the outside, or is he?
Well, he's doing a pretty good job of holding his own out there. Making the pass would be a pretty good accomplishment.
Well, Tom Peck goes back into the 5th spot. And we're now at 60 laps, so we're getting into the area of concern. We've had 3 caution flags for a total of less than 10 laps.
And the concern you're talking about is that tire wear, just to see what happens. If it's as critical as everyone thinks it might be. And there's David Green. They just went around these 2 cars, and he pulled over, and they got back around him.
And there's a lot of 3 wide battling going around this racetrack. There's Jeff Burton moving past Bobby Dotter, who has local sponsorship for this race, local Ace Hardware store on his car. Jeff Burton leads this racetrack, and we asked him about how he keeps cool on a hot, muggy day like this one at Myrtle Beach.
My guys don't know it yet, but I'm going to definitely have a cool hat in there. It's just, you know, it's not a matter of comfort, it's a matter of speed. If the driver is you know, not 120 degrees body temperature, he's going to operate better. There's a peak formula that your body works at. If you can keep that formula level, you'll be a better race car driver.
Exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It'll only cost more till you use it. We're back under caution, 4th one of the day. Shauna Robinson's car slowed in turn number 1, and then she tried to coast it around to pit road, but at turn 4 pulled it down to the infield grass. NASCAR let the car sit for about 3 laps, hoping she could get it restarted. She could not, and they were obligated to bring the caution flag out once again. We'll stand her yellow here for a lap or 2 as she has climbed out of the Polaroid car. Initially we thought it was a tire, but apparently bigger problem than that, and she looks a little warm from the heat today. As radio waits to speak with her there. After 68 laps, the Burton gang, Grissom, Peck, and Nemechek, as Ricky Craven, Robert Presley, Todd Bodine, and Chuck Bound come in to have a look at tires on pit road. There's the rest of your top 10 as they're running.
Mike, and what they're doing, we see some of them are changing tires, and folks, you just get 1 tire per position. So we got 60 laps, 140 to go. If you change them now, you need them. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
The 63 car of Chuck Bound now, he's getting right side tires, Neil, and a chassis adjustment. Evidently the car getting pretty loose. Robert Presley Chuck got right sides only. Robert Presley is getting 4 tires. He's down in the way. The 99 car of Ricky Craven got right side tires also. As we've talked about for the whole program, a lot of tire wear going on. The crew chief, Gil Martin, for the number 8 car, Baby Ruth, Jeff Burton, went and asked the NASCAR official, have you changed that tire roll yet? He said no, so left him out here, or out there.
Okay. Bobby Dotter coming in this time by. We'll be back with more from Myrtle Beach as we roll under caution here at lap 70. Jeff and Ward Burton in the lead. We'll be right back. TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
We're in Robert Presley's pit. We're waiting on the restart of the race, but these are the tires that came off the car. These are the wear bar indicators here. See how much tread's left on the tire. There is none. This is the right side tire. Now, look at the left side tire here and all this rubber buildup. These are real soft tires. That's why they're wearing out so fast. It's so hot here. The tires are really wearing out. The rubber sticks to them. We're getting ready for a green flag restart here.
1 to go. And we'll go back to green. It's Jeff Hensley of Chuck Bound's crew. Working things over.
Looked like he fell when he was going to a pit wall or something, hurt his arm.
It's like he got his left wrist there. Top 5 as they go. The Burtons, Grissom, Peck, and Nemechek. It is a wrist injury on Jeff Hensley there in the Chuck Bound pit, as he made 2 pit stops, one for right and then one for left side tires. They've raced here since 1958. This is the only track in the world where all 3 generations of racing Petties, Lee, Richard, and Kyle, have all raced here and never won, says Greg Fielden, our historian.
Well, they should be here today. They can try it again.
Glenn?
Well, I'm talking with Jeff Hensley. He's got an ice pack on his arm there. Jeff, what happened?
Well, we come in there and got right sides, and I got pinched between Presley's car and our car. I don't know. I got a big knot on my arm. I don't know whether it's broke or not. But it's not been a good weekend for us, believe me.
Okay, having some trouble in the pits as well as on the racetrack.
Things shuffle quickly on the restart, but they're too wide from midfield on back. A little damage to Joe Bessie's AC Delco car. Jeff Burton out in front, and now he's got some lap cars separating himself from Brother Ward, who has Steve Grissom, Tom Peck, Joe Nemechek right behind him, and Mike Wallace, who's one down, and Tommy Houston.
Mike, some of these lead cars will take that read just like Glenn Jarrett did off of the tires, off of Presley's car. If they see excessive wear, they'll be concerned enough now here. They'll have to start thinking about what they're going to do with their cars.
Presley had been running in a solid top 5 and then dropped back to about 11th position just prior to the caution flag. 2 of these cars that made, you see how heavy the traffic is. These cars that made pit stops under the caution going to have to be a little careful coming back through on new rubber. Presley and Bound running hard, moving up.
Boy, they got brand new tires on their cars. Real frisky right now. Really jump around traffic.
76 laps into this 250 lap event. 12th of the season. The Busch Series Tour, and you're seeing it live on TNN. From Chuck Bound ahead to Robert Presley from the right windowsill.
Yeah, these 2 guys there on the outside lane. You're not going to see anybody inside them. They're outside. They got the fresh tires on. They're just passing people outside like they're setting steel.
Just went by Jack Sprague and Roy Payne. Hermie Sadler way up toward the wall in turn 2, and he gathers it back in. One of the cars that did not stop for tires under that caution.
What these guys would like to do, they'd like to stretch it to at least the 100 lap mark. Then they know they can go the rest of the way. But getting that 100 lap mark on these tires is what they're looking for.
Well, the number of cautions we've had will help them to do that. Now Tom Peck slips and slides up out of the groove, and he goes to the tail end of the line you're watching now. Big jam up session there as they lap past Rodney Combs.
Here we see Grissom in front. Here's Nemechek trying to get out of the 9 car. He's up under him right there. There's Nemechek up under the 9 of Wallace trying to get clear.
3 wide in the front straightaway as Robert Presley goes low and Chuck Bound goes high trying to make a pass. Just behind this pack here. Nemechek underneath. And
wham! There was the little dog cam just got knocked over. If that would have been your dog, he'd have got his snoot hit that time.
Throw him a biscuit. That's Chuck right behind his brother Jim.
Yeah, he kind of got out there against somebody off that corner. Doing a little slipping and sliding here.
He's up to 8th place.
Boy, those new tires, you talk about paying off. They put new tires on, they're coming through the field now.
Oh, yes. But what are they going to have left when they get up there?
Yeah, that's Mike. The only thing they do, you know, we've said earlier they're looking at possibly changing the rule during the course of the race. They might have gambled. You know, if they do change the rule, they're the ones that come out on top of it. But I can't help but think NASCAR will stick with it the way it is now. They don't seem to have that much trouble.
It's Tommy Houston off the right side of Chuck Bound. They have caught the second pack. That is Bound and Presley. Tommy had to jerk it right to keep from getting into Chuck Bound right there.
Yeah, I tell you, it's hard to believe how much better those 2 cars are with those tires on, those fresh tires. They're just driving by everybody.
Presley right on the bottom of the racetrack, 3 wide. Steve Grissom in the middle.
This racetrack's plenty wide for 3 wide getting in. I don't know what happens when you get in the middle of this corner. Presley slid on in there. Look how quick his car's working right on through. Boy, while that was going on, that 3 wide stuff, Chuck Bound went right around the outside of some of it.
Yeah. They've come up the field just that way. Now here's Chuck to the inside of Nemechek, but he's been Mr. Outside, and Presley's been Mr. Inside, going right up through the field. There's Bound. A little bump and thump there.
Oh, you got a little tap right there coming on.
Now Mike Wallace at the left side of your screen is 1 down, 1 lap down to the leaders. Here's Presley now. He's on the outside. Lines up right behind Bound. Bound in 63. Just ahead of Nemechek. Boy, those new tires have just pulled them right back toward the front of the field.
Yeah, they went all the way to the rear, and they're going to be leading this thing. Not leading, but they'll be right with the leader shortly. The whole time they're doing this, the guys up front are just wearing their tires out even more.
And here's Presley underneath Bound. 3rd place. For the back of the pack, the 3rd place.
There's the new tire brigade.
But now remember, they have used up their allotment of tires you can put on the car under caution. Any further stops they make would have to be either under green, or if they stop under caution for tires, take a 2-lap penalty, the way the rule is right now. Smoke out of Coach Glanville's car. Down in turn 1, he's down low on the inside.
You know, Mike, you talked about before the show some of the guys that actually said, hey, we might take that 2-lap penalty. And seeing how good the tires are, the fresher tires, it might be worth on the caution. Just come in, go ahead and put them on, and take the 2-lap penalty. Certainly outdoes doing it on the green. You lose more than 2 laps on the green.
Glanville has gone to pit road. 89 laps. There's Jim Bound up the outside of Mike Wallace. Joe Nemechek. The Burton brothers lead. They pretty much dominated here. Jeff in the Ford and Ward in the Buick. Coming up on 100 laps. We'll be right back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, live on TNN. Just a short distance from the Speedway. The sun, sand, and surf of Myrtle Beach. Great vacation destination and a good place to see a race. In fact, one of the first pair of tickets sold for this race was to a young couple from Alaska who decided after seeing the race they'd come here and see it on their honeymoon. Rick and Andrea Garrels from Wasilla, Alaska, north of Anchorage, married a week ago, and they're here watching the race today. Right now they are watching Johnny Rumley go up in smoke.
The caution's not out yet. I can't help believe it's not, because they've really smoking a lot. Must not have put anything down.
He's off the racetrack and onto pit road. Also, Elvis has left the building. Jerry Glanville's taken his car behind the wall. We'll try and share that list with you a little later on. Here's Chuck Bound moving up and trying to move over Ward Burton. This is now for 3rd place. David Green. And Bound goes by. And here's Presley taking the lead. From last to first, Robert Presley becomes the 4th driver to lead this race.
Boy, do those tires light that thing up.
Only way he knows how to run, straight to the front. Lapping past Rodney Combs and pulling up on Roy Payne here. He is the 4th different leader. Jack Sprague, Ward, Jeff Burton, and now Presley. That's an impressive run up through not only from last to first, but as much 2-wide traffic as we've had on this racetrack. He and Chuck Bound picked him off one at a time. Chuck now sitting unofficially in 4th place. Tracy Leslie also moving smartly up through. He's now shown as the 3rd place car, just ahead of Bound and just behind Jeff Burton. He's caught Burton. Nathan Butke falls the lap down to the leader. And David Bonnet comes to pit road.
Yeah, they're out of tires. You're going to stick a set on it, think, see if it'll help him.
Leslie underneath Jeff Burton.
got a good shot up off that corner.
Yep. And the Detroit Gaskets Olds moves up to second spot.
He's been just picking them off a little at a time there. Car's working good.
This has become a race of the haves and the have-nots. Who has fresher tires goes to the front. He who has not slips up and out of the groove and to the back.
Well, we're on 104 laps right now, so the guys that have stayed out have the option, you know, when they do come in, they've got enough to go as far as they've been now at least. Question is, what does Presley and those guys do?
Back up front with Presley. He's just gone past Tom Peck to put Peck a lap down. Well, if he keeps running this kind of pace, he could afford the 2-lap penalty. Didn't Jimmy Spencer come from 3 laps down here to win last year?
Yeah, he won it last year, kept making up lap after lap after lap, ended up winning the race. And Presley's thing is strong right now. He's sure going to be hard to handle.
Gets under Tommy Houston there as Houston and Mike Wallace have gone at it a little bit. Down into turn 1. You'll see where that scoreboard sits right in the middle of turn 3, so the drivers see that down the backstretch. They got a good count on what's going on. There's that board as Hermie Sadler heads for pit road.
You know, you said earlier, Presley, we're seeing him lead the race here. He said he could go about 60 to 70 laps on tires. He pitted on lap 70, so we'll have to be watching when that sequence comes up again if he's out of them. There comes the 31 car down pit road. Grissom coming down pit road. He's got to have some.
They estimated it would take about 2 laps to put tires on under green. Now, Hermie Sadler was lapped by Presley right at pit road. Presley's just put him 1 down. We'll see. Robert will probably get him 1 more.
Boy, you can see the cars on the racetrack that run out of tires. They just stop in the corner. The 74 car, Sprague, he was running good, and he just stopped. Look at him going by him. He's almost having to park in the corner.
It's like he's driving on ice.
Yep, that's about what it feels like.
Now, Hermie Sadler's back out after getting 2 tires, and he lost 1.5 laps, almost exactly, to leader Robert Presley from the time he entered pit road to when he got back out. Here's Tommy Houston on pit road for tires. Right sides.
Looks like that might have been a good call by Presley coming in early. These other guys are going to have to stop on the green now.
We'll try to get a sense from Glenn Garrett on what the strategy is in the Presley pit, how long they would plan to leave him out, and would they take 2 laps, take the penalty and change under caution, or try to get him some more tires under green as we get further along here. But since getting fresh tires, he has just worn out the field. Now it's Grissom coming up. Remember, Grissom would have lost also 1.5 laps making that tire stop. Now he's got brand new tires. See if he can go on past Presley, try to get himself back up on the lead lap.
If he can do that, it's going to show us a lot. We're going to, if he can pull up there and pass the guy that's leading like this, you might see some of these others dive on in and go ahead and just bite the bullet and put some tires on.
Well, Steve Grissom caught Presley in a hurry. Presley trying to lap past Jim Bowen here.
Oh, how about this? 3 deep, 3 abreast right off the corner. Does that show you the difference in them?
Yeah, sure does.
Grissom was trying to use some patience, follow the 59 and go around him. They got stopped up, so he just went right around the outside of him. 59 outside, the Grissom car on the bottom under everybody.
It's almost like they got, you know, lane blocking signs. Old tires to the high lane and new tires to the bottom lane, please.
Yeah, you need an anchor. Go in the corner and drop anchor, too. Can't get them stopped.
Tommy Houston on new tires. He's flying back up through the field as well. Presley still maintaining quite a good pace here. Let's check with Glenn down on pit road.
We're going to ask Ricky Pearson. Ricky, it's obvious that new tires are so much faster. You had to stop early. What are you going to do now when those tires go away?
Well, we'll just have to stop under green, you know, what other people are doing now. Our car was so bad to start with. After about 50 laps, it got real loose. So we had to do something. So we adjusted some air pressure, put some bite in it. You know, he's running pretty good now. Hopefully, we'll just keep it going green all the way.
Okay, he wants a green flag. They got to stop with a green. Pretty simple.
Thanks, Glenn. We're coming up on halfway. 118 laps complete. 125 will be the halfway point. Just 7 laps from now. Robert Presley trying to wear out the field as Jerry Glanville returns to the race. We'll be right back. If you want a lesson in driving in traffic, all you have to do is watch Robert Presley. He has deftly threaded the needle through cars 2 wide and even gone 3 wide, as he did just 1 lap ago against a couple of lapped cars. He just put Ward Burton a lap down, and you see how effortlessly he glides past David Green, the point leader.
I tell you, Mike, this is a good little racetrack here in Myrtle Beach. A real wide racetrack. The Sprague and Pit Road, but this track is so good you can just drive anywhere on it.
Jack Sprague and Roy Payne, who started in the top 10, both on pit road for tires under green. As you heard Ricky Pearson say, that kind of dictated their strategy. Robert Presley will expect to come back in one more time for tires. Joe Nemechek, the defending Busch Series champion, is now on pit road, looking for only his 5th top 10 finish of the season here at Myrtle Beach. His wife Andrea's hometown. Big contingent of their families are here at Myrtle Beach today. But this man is just, like I said, the car wasn't quite right at the start of the race, but since they put tires on, made a little change, wow.
You know, you'd like to say, boy, I had a big brainstorm last night. We'll pit on the 60th lap. But he just admitted himself the car was so bad at the first of the race, they had to do something. So now it's kind of going their way.
Halfway point. Have a look at Todd Bodine in the Fiddle Faddle Chevy 34. Last week's winner at Dover. He's just bolted on new tires, as has Ricky Craven in the DuPont car.
I'm glad to hear you say it's halfway. I've been calling this a 200 lapper all day.
No, 250 is the distance. Tommy Sigmund is in. Jerry Glanville made a stop. Tom Peck is coming in to make a stop under green for tires.
There's Ward Burton on the inside. He seems like his car, well, he's getting around green, but I tell you, his car was really slow a while ago. I thought he'd lost a tire, but seemed to be okay.
And Jack Sprague, who was almost stopped, now that he's got tires, he's been moving pretty well. Jeff Burton is on pit road. He led a good part of this race and was the 4th place car as he came to the pits.
David Green coming in also. I think to the point where they've got to now.
Well, you're past halfway now, so come and get him.
You're halfway or my halfway?
Yeah, well, that's a racetrack.
Real halfway.
Racetrack's halfway.
When they do these green flag stops, they still have that option now. If the caution should come out, they can use those other tires.
Well, we're in David Green's pit. They're also going to the right side. You know, guys, one thing we're looking at here, all these cars that are stopping under green are only putting on right side tires. Robert Presley put on 4, so even though he may wear those tires out quicker because he got them earlier, he's still got 4 fresh tires. These guys now have only got 2, so like you say, Neil, they're going to have to make that up on their caution if they can get one.
And Glenn, as you point out, since he was one of the first drivers to take on tires on that caution and then start running so well, he managed to knock a lot of these guys a lap down before they could come in and get even those right sides. So this strategy may well pay off for Presley. Last year he won 5 races, more than anybody else on the tour. He has 2 wins so far this season, as does Ward Burton.
Mike, I've been trying to watch Presley as he goes around to see. Yeah, he's almost getting to that 60 or 70 lap window now on this set of tires that he was concerned with before. I've been trying to see if his car's giving up a little bit. It doesn't seem to be fall out from under him as bad as it did earlier, but he said he wasn't right when the race started.
No. I couldn't see if they made a chassis change or not when he made that pit stop under caution, in addition to the 4 tires. But Presley now has a substantial lead on Tracy Leslie, the 2nd place car. Chuck Bound in 3rd. Here's your AC Delco mid-race recap. For almost any vehicle, AC Delco automotive parts can help your car or truck last and last. AC Delco is like buying time. 4 different race leaders, 4 lead changes, average speed 74 miles an hour. Then slowed by 3 caution flags for 16 laps. 9 cars currently running on the lead lap. Let's correct that and make that 4 caution flags. Don't know if, Neil, the track may be changing a bit. It has clouded up here at Myrtle Beach, and there is a chance of thunderstorms. Last night, the regular racing program was delayed 2 hours by severe thunderstorms. Then it cleared off, and they were able to get the races finished.
Yeah, it's cooled down. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit better. Just noticing Presley, he's still leading this race, but he's been in to wiggle the car up off the corner a little bit more. But while he's wiggling, he's still heading in the right direction, though.
Moving past Bobby Dotter. good-sized pack of cars here as Ward Burton peels off to pit road. Ward elected to stay out for the first half of this race. And it's gone a lap down to Presley. He'll lose at least one more here, putting right side tires on the car.
I'm sure these guys like this were hoping for a caution so they could come in on the caution, but it never came.
There's Mike Wallace in just ahead of him. Again, it's right sides only.
Doing some wedging, they're putting some bite in the car, tightening the rear up.
And out he goes.
Had a little trouble getting out of the pits.
Rookie Tim Feedaway in for a stop as well. 138 laps down. Robert Presley's best finish came in 1991 when he was runner-up in this race. Best finish here at Myrtle Beach. Second. Completed all 250 laps. This season he's won at Darlington and at Nazareth. There you see Todd Bodine and Ricky Craven. There's Craven in 99, both on fresh tires.
Look at the rubber flying up on the racetrack, Mike, as they go down the corner. That's not coming off the tires they have on now. That's picking up old debris off the track from these other tires that have been on them, just shredded them off. I mean, we're talking about tire stuff like this. This is something that's not out of the ordinary. When you come to a track like this, you want a good sticky, soft compound to get a hold of the track. I think the conditions of the weather just really threw everybody a curve this week.
Ricky Craven had a little bit of a slip here. Watch him, the blue car.
Ooh, he's all in the infield for a minute.
And look at all the junk. Look at all the tire debris.
Got in it really loose stuff just piled up on the inside of the track.
It looks like wiping your piece of paper off after you've written something in pencil and had to erase it.
Yeah, you wish you could erase it at times.
Yeah. Robert Presley moving up on Joe Nemechek another time. 142 laps complete. We'll be right back to Myrtle Beach live on TNN. Robert Presley has made a pit stop and bolted on 4 fresh tires. He's the first car we've seen take 4 under green, and now caution comes out. David Green and Chuck Bound are going to be a part of it as Clay Brown, the Florida driver, 11-year veteran of ASA and All-Pro, spins out in the back straightaway, and Chuck got into him.
Boy, here's Chuck in the middle of the track, but Presley just pitted. What he was trying to stretch it to was that caution.
And he just pitted, and he's a lap and a half down to leader Jack Sprague.
Well, that's my fault, Mike. It wouldn't have mattered to him. Caution. He's already used his allotted tires on the caution, so it really didn't affect him. Boy, Chuck Bound was running good here to have a problem.
So actually, now there's Ricky Pearson. Actually, they make out pretty well on this, because if they come in under caution and take on tires, it's a 2-lap penalty.
Yep.
By taking them on under green, it's a lap, and the other half a lap he'll get back when he comes up to the tail end of the line.
I got to get my calculator out. You're getting way ahead of me. I got to start doing some figuring here.
Well, Chuck Bound, though, something's wrong with that car. It will not move after that slide. He's looking for a push. Let's have a look, see what happened.
Here we see him coming up off the corner. So if we can pick him up to the right. Oh, Grissom was right behind him. The 15 got sideways. The other guy's going up the track there. He starts to back out across traffic. The 55 makes a sharp right and misses him. Bound hadn't got into this yet.
Nope. You're going to see him here in a second. I think sideways coming in.
Oh, yeah, him in the 44.
Yeah.
44 of David Green. They saw the wreck was trying to get stopped, got hooked up together. And what happened is Bound's car, we got another angle. Let's see if we can tell a bit more. There we see the 15. He's already spun, setting up in the middle of the track. Boy, some of these guys do a good job of getting around him. Ooh, Nemechek just barely missed him and running really fast. Here comes this group already tangled up together.
I wonder if it knocked a connection loose or something on Chuck's car so it wouldn't turn over, wouldn't restart. Well, let's see. Watch and listen at full speed.
You heard a motor revving up, but that wasn't his. That was the 44 car. What happens, these little 6-cylinders, it's hard to believe they run like 16-to-1 compression. They got so much compression to make them run that when they get hot, it's hard to get them cranked. With the starters, all they do to crank them.
So Bound is back in the race. We'll try to sort out scoring for you here in a second when we come back to Myrtle Beach Speedway. Tracy Leslie is the leader. Jeff Burton's being posted as second.
Well, we're back. The action in the pits has been fast and furious here. Now, what this has done, this caution flag has put Jeff Burton definitely in the driver's seat. There's only 2 cars on the lead lap, he and Tracy Leslie. Jeff had pitted under green, so therefore he still had 4 tires coming on his caution pit stop. So he came in, took on 4 fresh tires. Now he's in the lead lap with 4 fresh tires and over half the race gone. So that Robert Presley and those guys are a lap down to him now, at least 1 lap. He's got the race in his hands right now. I think it's his to win or lose.
Well, Tracy Leslie in much the same situation. He's up at the front of the pack. Robert Presley will be alongside on the restart. There's Jeff Burton, who seems to be in the driver's seat, as Glenn points out. Caution light will stay on here for a lap or so.
Well, when Chuck Bound's car, he's got to be disheartened. As good as his car was running, he made that same call that Presley did early and worked himself right into the race, and then get tangled up in that wreck. It really cost him.
Got push started, and he is also reported as being 1 lap down. Gonna wipe some of the sweat out from his eyes. Right there. See Tom Peck's car. Coach Jerry Glanville and his crew last night went to Dick's Last Resort restaurant. They had this big poster up on the wall, this top 10 list that they gave to Jerry. And with apologies to David Letterman, it's hanging on Glanville's truck here for everybody to see. Top 10 reasons from the home office why Jerry Glanville will hit the wall. Number 10, there's no place in the car for Elvis to sit. Number 9, because Deion Sanders isn't driving. Number 8, it's becoming habit. Number 7, this race isn't in the Georgia Dome. Number 6, too many hammer moves while driving. Number 5, Falcons can't win on the road. Number 4, Bum Phillips is on his pit crew. Number 3, impossible to race with a case of Milwaukee's best in the front seat. Number 2, can't fit the cowboy hat and belt buckle on his driver's suit. And the number 1 answer, because David Letterman is moving to CBS. They read that aloud in front of the whole restaurant. Everybody broke up last night.
Yeah,
they had a great time.
They've got, look here, we're going to try a 5 abreast restart, Mike. You think they don't think track position is critical right here? Now let's move up there and make it 6 abreast.
This looks like up where I live when the state police goes out on the interstate and drives along at 55 miles an hour. That's how everybody stacks up right behind them.
Look here, these guys don't want to give up position. Now, let me tell you, you pass that pace car and you'll make somebody mad. They're getting a battling for positions there to get lined up for the restart.
No start, yellow flag.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a no start and a few slaps some wrist and tell them, hey, you got to do this or do that.
Yep.
You were joking about that thing with Glanville. That's on the side of his tractor trailer rig down there. He just takes it lightheartedly.
Oh, he loved it. They brought it here, hung it up on the truck for everybody to see.
I went down there a while ago and he had 4 football players big enough to pick his truck up and haul it off.
Just about.
Got his own bodyguards.
Wouldn't need a jack for that car. Just pick it up. Here's a look at the top 5 at 155 laps as they get set lined up for the restart. I'll try it one more time. Maybe check up to 5th. 2 cars on the lead lap as a result of the pit stops, and they'll give them 1 to go this time. Funniest race here, according to the history of Myrtle Beach Speedway, as published in the Myrtle Beach Sun News today, was in 1968 when Hoss Johnson's car turned over going into the 4th turn, came back up on its tires, kept going, he didn't even stop, and won the race.
Hoss was getting it done that day, I would say.
I guess so.
Well, it looks like they gave them 1 to go. They look a little more organized this time. I think they might turn them loose this time.
I'm a little surprised at Presley because he's starting down on the lane with the lead lap cars rather than up and on the outside to try to get his lap back. Of course, you have to pass around the outside to get there, and when they were 5 wide going down the front stretch, you couldn't quite get there from where he was.
He might not have had an option where he started this one.
And they're going to hold caution for yet another lap here.
Yeah, I think there are some people out of line where they need to be.
Well, the Speedway started in 1958. It was dirt, and it's had kind of an on and off history. Ran for 7 years under dirt, closed down, came back in 1968. Ran along for a while, and then the track was finally paved and put into its present configuration. And the big move was getting a bush race here in 1988. Rob Moroso won the first one that they held here at this Speedway. And, of course, we've been proud to bring it to you on TNN ever since.
Mike, I was watching the flagman that time, though. It looked like the flagman motioned Presley to get in that outside lane to let him know he had that. And we could see Ricky Pearson in our shot in the pits. I think they're trying to tell Presley, hey, move to the front. He can actually go to the very front of that first line.
Down here is they're not forming it for the snow cone concession. What's going on? Nobody knows what position their driver's in. All these green flag stops and caution flag stops, they don't know how many laps down they are. They don't know what the official scoring is. They want to be able to know to tell their driver where to go to, what position to get into on the racetrack. And the officials are just simply overwhelmed right now.
So Robert Presley now has lined up behind the front two cars of Tracy Leslie and Jeff Burton, and we're ready to go back to green. He is the third place car, 1 lap down. It sneaks to the inside of Steve Grissom, and the field begins to sort itself out. Also a lap down, Grissom is the 4th place car. Nemechek is 5th. Chuck Bown is 6th. And they're showing Tim Fedewa, the rookie driver, in 7th. You're riding back with Chuck Bown once again. And Leslie has pitted. The race leader has peeled off and gone to pit road.
He had a problem.
He just coasted into his pit. They did not expect him. What a sad break for Tracy Leslie and the Detroit Gasket crew.
I didn't see a flat tire. I almost wonder if the caution came out when they were going to pit and they were out of tires, had to wait to go back green to get their tires. I'm not sure what it was about. I didn't see a tire problem.
They're going to put all 4 on it. And Jeff Burton goes back into the lead.
And there's Presley trying to get that lap back.
As we have it, Presley is a lap down. That's the lap that he lost to Tracy Leslie on the racetrack under green when Presley made his pit stop for 4 tires.
Presley's going to work as hard as he can. He can't worry about tire wear right now. He's got to try to get back in the lead lap with his other cars.
And here's Grissom right on the inside, the 3rd place car. Tracy Leslie back on the racetrack. He's now a lap and a half down. But Presley's advantage is gone because everybody has fresh tires now.
Yeah, it's back straight up start, just like at the start of the race, other than they've dialed his car in a little bit better.
He will need to pass Jeff Burton and then come all the way around. Trouble in turn 2. One car is turned around at turn 2. Glanville. Looks like one of those 10 reasons might have happened. Geez, I don't know. Did Presley get into him as he went by?
And Presley went right down the bottom. I couldn't tell.
What I saw was him bouncing down off the racetrack onto the dirt there to miss Glanville on the inside. Running back to the flag, and Burton is able to hold off both Grissom and Presley and keep them from getting back on the lead lap. This will be the 6th caution of the day. At lap 180, or rather Glanville at 162. We'll be right back. The Nashville Network's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Welcome back to Myrtle Beach, where we're under caution, and they're standing under the red, white, and blue flag. The fellow in the blue shirt, that's Rick Garrels, gives his new wife Andrea a kiss. They're from Wasilla, Alaska. Were married a week ago, and they're here at Myrtle Beach. He's got a Charlotte Speedway hat on. They went out to visit, and they're here on their honeymoon. So they saw the race on TNN last year, said, well, this would be a good place to go.
Yeah, it's kind of the same kind of weather conditions, so I'm sure they want to mosey there and get this cool weather with them.
Yeah. Okay. Folks, we want to bring as much of this race under green as we can. So just a quick rundown from here. Jeff Burton is leading. Steve Grissom is 2nd. Robert Presley is 3rd. Chuck Bown is the 4th place car. We'll sort it out and bring it to you live after this.
And welcome back to Myrtle Beach Speedway, where we're trying to get things sorted out here now. We've got 1 lap to go before we return to green flag racing. Discussions go on in Jeff Burton's pits. NASCAR reprimanded him for racing too much back to the green flag, not allowing the caution car to get out. But he was trying to keep Grissom and Robert Presley a lap down. As we have it right now, Jeff Burton is in a lap by himself, followed by Steve Grissom and Robert Presley. They're trying hard to get that lap back, but Burton's on 4 fresh tires. He's going to be tough.
Thanks, Glenn. Unofficially, Chuck Bown would be next 2 laps down. Tim Fedewa, Tom Peck, and Joe Nemechek is up amongst that pack as well. Back under green, lap 168. After the 6th caution of the day, here's your Napa Field standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
Boy, Grissom's trying for that lead right now, Mike. Oh, they got together coming off turn 4.
Both got tires at the same time. Behind them, Houston and Presley. Grissom gets the lead. Steve Grissom becomes the 6th different leader.
He's back in the lead lap.
You're right. He gets back on the lead lap.
Mike, it's confusing, but I think that's the way it is. I mean, you were trying to figure it out yourself. It's hard to tell, but that should have put him back in the lead lap.
That's correct. Burton continues to lead. Jeff Burton, trouble. Chuck Bound, and around goes his brother, Jim. Ricky Craven got a little piece of him after it was all but over. And Jim will pull away. No, we're going to stay green. A couple of drivers, Todd Bodine, one of them had completely, and Tracy Leslie had rolled out of the throttle completely, anticipating a caution flag, perhaps on word from their spotters. Now have to get back with the program.
I'll tell you who would have liked to see that caution would be that blue car right there.
Oh, you bet.
Grissom would have got that lap all the way back around.
Presley battling with Tommy Houston, who is another lap down, further down. Let's have another look, see what happened in turn 2. Remember, no caution. We're staying under green here.
We see the red car right there of Chuck Bound. He gets sideways. Watch him. He's going to climb up on top of one of these other cars.
Yeah, his brother Jim, the white car.
Thought I saw earlier his car go up. There's Jim right sitting in the middle of the track. Never did throw the caution out.
Yeah, watch it from the close encounter angle.
He's right up against him. They got to get closer than this in a minute because we saw this car go around.
Well, they're both back racing without further incident. Although Joe Nemechek has just passed Chuck Bound.
Bound's got a pretty good bit of damage to the back of his car. It might affect it the way it's running.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage over on the right rear. It almost looks like that left front tire's a little low on his car.
He also, oh boy, Jeff Burton trying to get back past Steve Grissom. Got into the side of Grissom. Burton trying to do everything he can to keep the field a lap down. Chuck Bound recovered from that incident in 5th position. 1 lap back. And Jeff Burton, who was the pick of one top driver in pre-race to win this thing, currently leads it by almost a lap.
Boy, look at these lap cars. Here's Grissom trying his best to keep Burton back there. This lap traffic is really making him work hard.
Going around Troy Beebe, the banana boat Ford there. Beebe had quite a job to do, that blue car on the right, just to make this race. After they wrecked the car badly in practice, they've been repairing it for the past 2 days. He got in on a provisional and still running pretty well.
Boy, Burton would love to put this blue car right here, 31, down that lap and leave him the only guy in that lap. Trying everything he can to get around him.
Steve Grissom has a mirror full of Jeff Burton right now.
Yeah, they're racing plenty hard. He's going to try it outside. He tried him inside. Couldn't do it. He's going to see if he can edge around the outside of him.
Lap car ahead. Richard Lassiter.
Lost a little bit of ground when he tried that outside lane.
Drops back behind him as they clear Lassiter's car.
Move it over the outside. Let these guys go by.
.70 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach Speedway in the 12th Busch race of 1993. Jeff Burton trying to put Steve Grissom, the 2nd place car, back a lap down. If you joined us late, Ward Burton started on the pole. Jack Sprague, both Burton brothers, Robert Presley, and Tracy Leslie have led this race. There's Chuck Bound in 5th place, a lap down.
Boy, we had a couple of cars getting hung up coming off turn 4 all over the front straightaway. They did everything but wreck.
It's Todd Bodine and Tom Peck battling, and Roy Payne coming up in the midst of it, just in front of Chuck Bound.
Boy, look how wide this track is. You almost want to say, I say almost want to go 3 breaths. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yep.
The track is so wide. It's a nice little racetrack. Plenty of room to get around it.
Burton has the measure of Grissom off of 2, and it doesn't happen. Not this time. Leaders back at 3. Jeff Burton was up and underneath Grissom at 1, but just couldn't stick there.
Mike, we just had a call. Glenn Jarrett called and said that Goodyear just told them they were out of tires. So they're all the way out of tires in the pits other than what are in the pits. So if they go green here, it'll be better. They start having a lot of caution. Some of these guys won't put tires on, but they are out.
66 laps to go. Battle here. Robert Presley about a straightaway behind the leaders. Now he's battled Tom ever since the restart. And now Ward Burton's coming up to fight Presley, who is the third place car. Now Burton had to make a stop under green, and I believe he's gone 2 laps down. Jason Keller to pit road.
Just working through this traffic again. Boy, gave Burton Burton lost a little bit of ground to Grissom. He's able to close it right back up.
Moves underneath Mike Wallace after passing David Bonnet.
Boy, Burton could take it a little bit easier if he just had Grissom a lap below him. You know, he's in a lap to his own except for that Grissom car. And he sees him out there, and he'd love to get him behind him, but Grissom at such a pace he can't do it.
Right, because remember, if a caution flag comes out, Grissom gets to not just come around all the way around to the tail end of the field. He gets to come right up behind Burton for the restart because he'd be the only other car on the lead lap.
Yeah, that 20-foot you're looking at there is worth almost a half mile.
That's right.
Around this racetrack.
Nathan Butke, the 18-year-old driver from Randleman. Hi, Nathan. Bye, Nathan.
Well, they're beside us.
Yep, going past Chuck Bound.
That wreck while ago did something to Bound's car. He was a lot better before that happened. He's got the rear knocked way down. He did some damage to the chassis, I believe.
And you see a bit of vibration from that in-car camera that wasn't there before. Coming up on 60 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach. Jeff Burton out in front. Today's copyrighted telecast of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is authorized under broadcast rights granted by Myrtle Beach Speedway. Is intended for the private use of our audience. Any retransmission or reuse of the pictures, accounts, or descriptions of this event without express written consent of the national network is prohibited. Jeff Burton lacks just about 3 car lengths of getting Steve Grissom back a lap down, but Grissom has been quite strong after the restart. Meanwhile, Joe Nemechek had passed Robert Presley, and that would change hands at 3rd position. Chuck Bound unofficially in 5th. There is Nemechek in 87, the Dentine car. Moving past Mike Wallace and coming up on point leader David Green. Tires have been the story of the day. When you got them and what you did with them as far as being on the lead lap. Robert Presley dominated a good part of this race, but made a stop for green for tires just before the caution came out, and has been unable to move back up through the field as he once did with 4 fresh tires.
You know, we just mentioned that they were out of tires. That really shouldn't enter into it because the guys don't need to stop anymore. If they stop, it's going to cost them a lot.
There is Nemechek, series champion. And there's a look at Bound and Presley. Now Bound is reported as being in 4th place now. There's Presley up and alongside to retake the spot.
He's right beside Chuck Bound. We're riding in Chuck Bound's car. Glenn Jarrett called us and told us that it did knock the toe end out on this car that we're riding in. And when that happens on a short track like this, it really messes the handling up. So he's got his hands full just keeping this car straight. The front wheels are knocked in the opposite direction right now.
So that should change 4th place, Neil, and move Presley back up into 4th and Bound back to 5th. We'll try to get your rundown a little further back as we can. 50 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach. Jeff Burton in command, and 1 car to pit road. That would be Eddie Goodson from Darlington.
Looks like smoke coming out of the back of it. Had a problem with it. Here's Grissom trying to get around the lap car. Look at Burton closing. He'd like to catch him caught on some of his lap traffic and put him on down. Grissom's not going to have anything to do with that. He's doing all it takes to stay out front.
Lapping past Jim Bound in 98. Glenn Glanville just ahead. That whole pack a little bit quicker than the coach is running right now. Burton's got to work to complete that pass before they get to Glanville.
Burton taking a look to the inside, but they're coming up on a lap car.
Grissom uses the lap car as a pick very nicely.
Yeah, Burton had the best shot he had at Grissom that time. He was completely up beside him up off the corner.
Well, he's rooted right up under him. Here comes Burton back for another try.
He's got that inside line. That's been such an advantage all day to get that inside away from the guy. Looks like
and this time he's got it.
Looks like he's going to make the thing stick this time. And there comes Grissom. He's not going to give up easy. But that inside is so much better lane to run in at this time in the race.
And look, Burton just took right off in the middle of the corner. Picked up 2 car lengths right there.
That puts him in a lap by himself now. He can sit there now and use that 31 as a gauge and just ride in front of him. And then if the caution comes out, it doesn't matter to him one bit.
Jeff Burton was the one driver this afternoon who told me he was not having trouble with the tires.
He's one of the few guys that didn't lie to you, because he really is not having tire trouble. His car seems to get better as it goes along. The guys who were on pit road said they were having trouble. They're out of the picture right now.
Steve Grissom's had a good strong race, but because of the timing of pit stops, he's fallen 1 lap back. And is the 2nd place car. It's a ways back to Joe Nemechek in 3rd, also a lap down. So Jeff Burton now goes back to the enviable spot of having a lap by himself. Mike Wallace, David Bonnet, Jack Sprague.
It's a good experience for David. This Busch series, I tell you, is a tough series. You know, he wins races, a lot of races at home, and got him working today, and that's what it's all about, just trying to figure out what to do with these things.
Steep learning curve, Neil, to move up from local Saturday night racing to a series like this.
Yeah, Mike, and it's real humbling, too, because last year he won about 16 out of 20 races at home, and he's so used to winning all the time. You come up here and say, hey, you just got to take it step at a time, and it's kind of hard to settle back and say, I want to go to this learning deal. You want to race, but this is jumping on the big boys right here.
But he doesn't abuse the car. I mean, he's a smooth driver. He doesn't get the car out of shape. Takes his opportunities where he finds them.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I've jokingly said a lot of times I wish you'd never seen a race car. There's a lot worse things kids can be doing nowadays. I have a ball messing around with them, these things. And it's kind of our hunting and fishing.
Good. That's great. .210 laps complete, 40 to go. Here at Myrtle Beach Speedway as Joe Bessie moves underneath Chuck Bound.
Boy, look, Bessie got up under him, and then there was a lap car there. And you can see Bound got stuck in that outside lane. There he is right there riding with him. Oh, he's going to try to run the way outside.
Yep. Troy Beebe just ahead. Running a little bit slower.
See, he's got, there we go. He tapped him a little bit getting in the corner. Chuck's, boy, you see him wave his fist at him that time. Chuck's had a real fast race car, and that toe end's out, and it just won't do what he wants it to do right now. And he's having a lot of trouble with the car, but he's still wanting to go as fast as possible. He should be able to run those lap cars a little quicker than that. Give him a hard time.
We used to call that kind of little tap blowing the chrome horn, but there's no chrome left on these race cars.
No, but that's the best thing. It works.
Yeah.
When there's not one in the wheel steering wheel. You bump them at the other, and they pay attention.
It has been 51 races since the winner lapped the field in Busch Grand National competition. Jimmy Hensley did it at Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina in August of 1991.
Well, every time we go to a Busch race, we set some kind of record of speed or a caution or whatever. Looks like if things go the way they are now, we'll set another one today.
Tom Peck on pit road for tires. There are 37 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Jeff Burton leading Grissom, Nemechek, Presley, and Bound. TNN's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. .219 laps complete. Here's your Budweiser race report. 6 caution flags for 30 laps as we put that up. Average speed down to 71 miles an hour. 6 changes among 5 leaders and 1 car. Jeff Burton on the lead lap. 5 of the 32 starters are out of the race already, and we've just thrown the flag for the 7th caution of the day. Roy Payne, driver of the Hyde Tools Chevrolet, spun out in turn 4 all by himself. Steve Bird is crew chief. He'll have a new crew chief in that car starting after this race, Mike Hillman. will replace Steve Bird, who reportedly is moving over to the Jack Sprague team. There you see him go, kind of all by his lonesome there at turn 4. No other contact, and got right back into the show. Here's a different angle.
Yeah, he just lost the car, looked like. He just got it sideways coming up off the corner. Luckily, he didn't get on that outside wall.
One of the Penrose rookie challengers in this year's Busch Series, and as we reported, Steve Bird from up New England way will leave the team after this race and move on reportedly to Jack Sprague. No announcement yet where he's going, but Mike Hillman will replace him. Jeff Hensley crew putting gas and a little body work, a little fender repair there to Chuck Bound's car. There you see him looking over the damage to the right rear. Jeff on the radio holding the hammer so that risk couldn't be too bad. That car looks like it's ready for the junkyard out behind the house. 4 drivers did not make the field here at Myrtle Beach. Mike Hovis, Boston Red Sox player Mike Greenwell owns that car. Just missed it. He was 31st fastest. Jimmy Cope did not make the field. Tom Hessert, the IMSA champ, and Mike McCurry in an Oldsmobile were the drivers who failed to qualify for this race.
Now look, coming down pit road, we've got a bunch of the cars coming down pit road, and I thought most of them had used up their allotment of tires. We have to see what happened over there. There's Presley coming in also. We know he's used up his allotment, giving 1 to go while these guys are on pit road also.
David Green, Presley. Well, they may decide to take the tires and the 2-lap penalty that go with them. Unless now we've had no report of the tire rule being changed.
They're just looking. We see him right here just looking.
Okay.
So that Presley wants to know if he's got enough where he can abuse the car. The thing you don't want to do is run it into the court and blow a tire out. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Exactly right, Neil. They're checking Robert's tires to make sure they're okay. David Green, meanwhile, is changing all 4 tires, so I'm sure he's going to have to undergo a penalty. They're putting Presley back out there now. They're shaking their heads a little bit. I don't know what the concern is. They're going to bring him back in and make a chassis adjustment. That's what's going to happen. So look for Presley to come back in. They're waving the caution. They've given him 1 to go, but they're going to give him 1 more now for some reason. I think you'll see Robert Presley come back in.
Now Ward Burton also changed tires, Glenn, and I believe he had used up his allotment. Again, the tire rule, 1 tire per corner on the car. Again, a cost-saving rule. Under caution, under green, you can change as many as you want, but under caution, you're only allowed 1 set of tires for the duration of the race.
Mike, that is a good call. Expense-wise, these guys have a burden on them anyway, and you can cut that tire cost back. That's the thing to do.
So 1 more lap of caution. There's a new, you think the Burton brothers or something. There's a new rising star coming on the circuit. This is Ward yesterday morning out making an appearance where he and Jeff battled at the local go-kart track, and that is Jeff Burton. He knows what to do with that steering wheel. Teeth on it.
That's right. Eat the thing up.
But he's a fast learner. See, Daddy gets his hands around the wheel, and here he goes.
I think the young one's doing the driving.
Might be.
Boy, they want to make sure they let some air pressure out of the right front. Look like they want us to go with these tires. They want to make sure what they have.
Well, since Robert Presley was already in the back of the field, 1 more stop wouldn't hurt him position-wise on the racetrack. They say the car's too tight. Now that's unusual with all the tire wear. You think he's loose, but his car's too tight. They have adjusted it with air pressure. They're sending him back out in the way now. Hopefully he can gain those positions back with a better handling race car.
Well, Glenn, he's already shown he can fly his way through the pack when he's got new tires, so he did not want to take the 2-lap penalty and give up 3rd, make that 4th place in this race. So he will restart tail end of the field when we get green next time by. Our next Busch telecast Saturday, June 26th, the Phase 150 from Watkins Glen, New York on the road course, live at 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Then we go to Milwaukee on Sunday, the 4th of July, 2 p.m. Eastern time, the Haviland Formula 3 250 for the Busch cars, live here on TNN. Then at Loudon, New Hampshire, we'll bring you the Auto Palace Slick 50 150 for NASCAR Modifieds and the Slick 50 NASCAR Winston Cup race. Slick 50 300, July 10th and 11th. Up at Bob Bearer's beautiful new speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. A lot of racing coming up from the network that brings you more live Busch Series racing than all other TV networks combined. These drivers have softball practice here at Myrtle Beach tomorrow for the big NASCAR versus IMSA softball match to benefit charity right around Watkins Glen, New York. That'll take place coming up in 2 weeks, the week of the race there.
Boy, Burton got a great start then. He really took off. Got him a little bit of breathing room.
There's Nemechek, who's gotten past Steve Grissom. Can he stay there? Ward Burton right with them. I think Ward is a lap down to those two cars, though.
Yeah, Grissom's trying his best right here. He had Burton right there where he wanted him a while ago, and he's let him get away a little bit. Grissom still hasn't given up on getting that lap back. When Burton got that big jump on the start, you know, it's put some distance on him and Grissom.
Now it sorts out with Nemechek trailing Grissom and Burton. Now Nemechek and Grissom, the 31 and 87 cars, are battling for second place. Burton we're carrying as being one more lap down, 2 laps down to the leader. We're being told of severe weather conditions in the Nashville area, and it is affecting the satellite reception of our transmission from Myrtle Beach. So if you're having picture or audio problems, the reason why, we apologize for Mother Nature. But they're making whatever adjustments they can to try to improve the signal back to you. A lot of heavy racing mid-pack here. And one car very slow around turn 4, 10 feet away. He's going to make it to pit road.
Boy, those new tires Burton put on enabled him to drive right around the leader, but I'm not sure where that puts him in the standings. He might have had that set left. He might possibly have had a set of lefts he could put on.
Yeah, if he had not him under the caution, it would now put him back 1 lap down. He is 1 lap back of the leader.
Now he's the guy hoping for the caution.
Yes, because that'll bring him right up behind Nemechek and Grissom, who are side by side for second.
Boy, these guys are running 3 and 4 breast up off each one of these corners.
They've got to make those tires last another 22 laps.
There's Green getting a good run right here up under Grissom, like he's going to make a stick.
Yeah, he just got.
See these guys, they've moved down totally off the racing surface. They're down on that apron part now. We kind of joked about earlier when somebody got in there. Now they're all running on that part.
Run any lower, they'll have their left sides on the beach. Real sandy down there, just the edge of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Jeff Burton has taken off and run away from this pack of cars, which has Robert Presley coming up through after that pit stop. Robert is the 4th place car, number 59, the Alliance Training Center's machine.
See Leslie right down the inside. Presley out in front of him right there. Joe Bessie's trying to get up here under Leslie. This group's got a big bottleneck. They've a couple of guys in the front. They've got a big stack of cars behind them. Very seldom you see this late in the race here. Almost all your lead guys are on really worn out tires, so they're all just struggling right now.
David Green just easily got a lap back from Jeff Burton. Now he was more than a lap down. Well, Robert Presley was trying to make a move up around Joe Bessie and Tracy Leslie. Didn't get very far on that one. There he is, hung on the outside as they come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that's the wrong place to be out there.
And Tracy Leslie's going to take it right back to him.
Be lucky if he doesn't lose more ground than what he had.
Yep.
Coming up on a lap car, though. Presley pinned him on that. You can see, just pinned him over, and Tracy Leslie couldn't do anything but pop that car in the rear. Car spinning, going up the back straightaway.
Richard Lassiter in the wall and gets tagged. Tommy Sigmund spun to try to miss him and got tagged, and somebody looked like they got in the back of Ricky Craven as well. Lassiter, that's at least the 2nd week in a row he's had a hard one into the wall. Make that 3. Nazareth, Dover, and here again at Myrtle Beach.
That gave Burton that lap. Had to put him back up there to battle with those other guys.
Ward Burton, that's right. He's a lap down.
And Green. Didn't Green just get the thing back around?
He got one back as well.
Yep.
There's Tommy Sigmund, who got into the back of number 5, Richard Lassiter. Let's give you a rundown how they were running just before the caution. Jeff Burton was the leader. He was on a lap by himself. 1 lap down would have been Steve Grissom, Joe Nemechek, Robert Presley, and Ward Burton. 2 laps back, Tracy Leslie, Todd Bodine, Hermie Sadler, Ricky Craven, and Chuck Bound. Then it was Bobby Dotter, Roy Payne, David Green. you noticed had just got a lap back. 3 laps down would be Tommy Houston. And we'll take a look further back in a moment. Let's have a replay there up at turn 4.
See if we can see what happened here. I saw him get hung on the outside there. You already see him out there in that outside lane. And boy, once you get up there, it's a bunch of gravel and stuff. All the rubber off the tires. He took a pretty hard lick, like you said, Mike. He backed it up in that old marbly stuff of tires. And then he comes along right here, and his car clips him and snatches the rear tail section off the car. Looked like he hit the wall a little bit harder than that. Didn't do that much damage to the right rear.
13 laps to go as you ride with Chuck Bound and Jeff Burton up. The Nashville Network's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 has been brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light.
Well, last gasp efforts being made by the crews here. Steve Grissom, who was only 1 lap down, brought his car in. They made a chassis adjustment. They adjusted wedge on both the left rear and the right rear of the car. The 99 car, Ricky Craven came in to check it over for any damage that might have gotten there in that little bump up he had. But kind of surprising to see Grissom in because he gave up a lot of track position. I think there's still like 3 or 4 cars that are only 1 lap down. So he's got some cars to pass, but they think that chassis adjustment will do it and enable him to do that and get back to 2nd place.
There are 4 cars a lap down, Glenn, and they are Grissom, Joe Nemechek in 87, 59 Robert Presley, and the 2 of Ward Burton. They are each 1 lap down. 2 laps down, and this is unofficial. Tracy Leslie, Todd Bodine, Hermie Sadler, Ricky Craven, who also made a pit stop in 99. Chuck Bound, Bobby Dotter, Roy Payne, and David Green. Unofficially, 3 laps back, Tommy Houston, along with Jack Sprague, the outside pole sitter, Tom Peck, Tim Fedowa, Nathan Butke, and David Bonnet. A little further back come Jason Keller, Rodney Combs, Tommy Sigmund, Mike Wallace, and Troy Beebe. This should settle it. Be 10 laps to go when they come back. Green flag, and Jeff Burton hauls him down the front straightaway. Grissom made his way back up in the line to right behind Ward Burton, but Ward is going after Robert Presley. Turn 3, right side of your screen. That is the battle for 3rd place. Jeff Burton with a pack of lap cars lined up behind him. Now here comes Burton after 2nd place. Burton dives it under Joe Nemechek. There they are, the right of your screen. That is the battle now for 2nd. And the pole sitter, Ward Burton, trying to bring it back home as the lap cars stream past his brother. Jeff Burton may be out of tires.
Something's wrong right here. Worse, he's getting himself in a condition he could get in an accident here with so many cars around him. He's really got to be careful here. I mean, you know you pretty well got the race put away, but you can't afford to get involved in an accident.
Roy Payne gets a lap back. Mike Wallace, Jim Bound now trying the race leader. They are 3 wide on him. Now right behind him is his brother Ward, trying to get back on the lead lap. Ward Burton in car 2, the Hardee's Buick.
He just wanted to kind of get himself out of the middle of this thing. He knows all he's got to do is just run to the end. He's got the race won, but he's in such traffic he's in a bind.
7 laps to go. Ward passes Jeff Burton. Goes around little brother and gets back on the lead lap. Means that Jimmy Hensley's record of lapping the field may stay intact here.
Yep.
Jeff is letting everybody go. He's got 5 more laps to run.
He's saying, just let me finish this race.
Please.
You guys get on out of the way. I got this thing where I want it. But when you're dealing with lap traffic like that, they're trying to race for positions.
Yep. He's just got to hope nobody takes him out with one of those 3 wide dive bomb in the corner deals. Chuck Bound front straightaway, locks it up, gets it rolling, and the caution comes out.
Boy, now what does this do? Ward Burton can pull all the way around behind his brother. With 4 laps to go right now.
That's right. Ward Burton gets the free pass. Not only does he come around to the tail end of the field, because now he's on the lead lap unofficially, he'll come right up behind his brother to race for the win. And he put on 2 fresh tires on the last caution flag.
Yep.
Hard to believe he's got a shot to win this.
You wouldn't do that to your brother, would you?
Might. There's the Phil Martocci crew. Not happy to see that caution flag come out with just now 4 laps to go. Let's show you the replay of what happened to Chuck Bound here in the front straightaway.
Here Chuck's coming up off the corner. See him coming up. Oh, here's the deal. We lost it there. He spun the car coming off the 4 turns where he lost the car, locked it down, and stopped right at the start-finish line. He's been having a lot of trouble with that car lately with a toe in out on it and everything.
I believe, Neil, the car might also have stalled. That's why the starter was quick with the caution flag. Everybody went by, and if that car wasn't running, then he stands a good chance of getting hit before he can get it fired. You saw him spin the wheels once he got it fired and back into gear.
I tell you, the biggest passing Ward Burton might have all day is moving up through there.
Will we get this race back under green? Yes, 1 to go. Here's Glenn.
Well, Jeff Burton again is being warned by NASCAR to slow down. He wouldn't wait on the caution car, and I don't blame him. He was running as fast as he possibly could while the caution was out to burn up those laps. But now they do have 1 lap to go. But I don't know if Ward's going to be able to get to him or not. There's a lot of cars between them.
Well, Ward's trying. He is on the lead lap and trying to get back up to his position, which would be second on the inside line. And Rodney Combs will allow him to drop in there. Nemechek, though, doesn't care to. And Ward just kind of crowds him over and gets in line. Nobody is sitting down. They will restart with 1 lap to go. Green and white together. Wife Kim, can Jeff Burton hold it together for 1 lap to win it all? Green flag.
Something happened to Burton's motor on the start.
Ward did not come up through the gear. He may have been in the wrong gear.
Something sure happened to the motor. Big puff of smoke out of it as he came up the start-finish line.
He's still a second-place car. Rodney Combs trying to get a lap back from the race leader. Jeff Burton has nobody in his mirror. As Combs comes around, it'll be white flag for Rodney Combs and checkered flag for Jeff Burton. He wins it here at Myrtle Beach in an anything could happen and probably will thriller.
And did.
And did almost lap the field. His brother, Ward, would finish on the same lap in second place and now pulls up alongside.
Yeah, congratulate him on the win. Good run.
Robert Presley told me before the race, pointed at Jeff Burton standing alongside and said, there's the guy that's got the shot to win it, because he doesn't abuse his race car, doesn't use up his tires.
You need Presley sitting here. He knows more about this than I do, but he sure called that shot, didn't he?
I don't know.
Good run by the 8 car.
Jeff Burton wins it. Ward is second. Joe Nemechek is third. Robert Presley is fourth. And let's show you the restart again and see if we can figure what happened to Ward Burton in the number 2 car.
Watch the tailpipes in the car in second place. Watch the big puff come out the tailpipe. See that puff right there? Something happened as he was coming up gear. The thing's puffing smoke out the tailpipe, and look at everybody drive around him. I'm not sure what happened. Looked like it might have floated the valves or something.
That'll be a happy Philmar crew down there that Glenn Jarrett's in the middle of. Glenn, he jumped on the scale before he climbed in that car, weighed 158 pounds. I'll bet he's a lot lighter now, but his wallet's going to go home a lot heavier.
No, that's right, Mike. He may have lost a little weight sweating, but not as much sweat from the heat as it was from all that was going on out there, Jeff.
It got real interesting out there. I was okay until the last 2 laps, and I knew Ward had got his lap back, and I knew he had on good tires, and I just tried to get a really good jump. I don't know what happened to them, but, you know, Burton finishing 1 and 2. That's all right. We'll take that every week.
Every week. It looked like what we saw there was a puff of smoke came out of his car on the start like it didn't take off.
Yeah, we got a really good start, and he may have, I don't know, he just, engine bogged down or something. But they did a good job to stay in contention. They were pretty much out of it, and they pitted at the right time and got out of it pretty good. So
Good job, buddy.
Good job, man. I was scared of it.
Well, we got them both down here. Let's ask Ward just a minute there. Ward, you got that lap back, and then it puffed on you there on that restart. What happened?
Yeah, I thought I had a flat tire, and I waited on it a minute, and then I would have missed a damn gear. But I'm glad he got it.
Thank you.
I love it when brother congratulates brother. Jeff, what a great job. Congratulations.
Well, I mean, this car worked great all day. I mean, the crew did a great job. We've deserved it all year. It's great for Baby Ruth and Ford to get a win. I'm just real excited. This will help us in the points. And just ready to go, man.
You can hear the excitement in his voice, and it's no small wonder to me. They've been running better and better every week, and it was time for Jeff Burton to win a race.
Tired but happy young fella, the younger of the 2 Burton brothers, going to victory lane here at Myrtle Beach. Ward finishes second. The Burton gang comes in and sweeps Myrtle Beach. Joe Nemechek is third. Robert Presley is fourth. Steve Grissom picks up the fifth spot. Todd Bodine is sixth. Tracy Leslie, after that pit stop he had to make, wound up seventh. Hermie Sadler was eighth. David Green was ninth. And Ricky Craven was awarded the 10th spot. That's as far back as we can give you at the moment. Craftsman Tools on second count. There's no time for second best. The official tools of NASCAR will give you the update on the Busch Series point standing. We'll have that here in just a second. How'd you like to be driving a car with 2 laps to go and know you got no tires under it, Neil?
Yeah, and then your brother's beating on the back door, too.
What a wild one. Here's the way the point standings leaving Myrtle Beach. David Green still atop the standings. Steve Grissom will be 16 points behind. Robert Presley gains a bit of ground today. Chuck Bown and Jeff Burton up into the top 5. We'll be speaking to you in 2 weeks from Watkins Glen, New York, to Phase 150 on that Saturday. We hope you've enjoyed TNN's live exclusive presentation of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. For Glenn Jarrett and Neil Bonnet, this is Mike Joy congratulating Jeff Burton and the Phil Martocci Baby Ruth Ford team on a great win today.